after one. 3, 2, 1.
All right, happy Friday, everybody. Time for another quick win collective mastermind. We've got some great ideas for you today. Specifically, we're going to be going back through Google Business Profile, getting you an understanding of how to utilize probably the best search option we have to really frame who we are out there for our folks. Hey, listen, as we're letting everybody come in, if you don't mind, let us know where you're coming in from. Drop that information in the chat. That way we can see it. Just as we get started here, going to be curious about seeing where everybody's. Tampa, Florida, New York City, South Lake, Texas. Let's see, California is coming across the entire Colorado, Montana. All right, we got people coming in from everywhere. Love seeing this. Already got 450 people already in. So we'll give them just a couple minutes. As we know, realtor time. People come in just a little bit later. But listen, super excited to be with you guys today. This is a subject we did about 3 weeks ago. Once we get going, Sam's going to drop in there. As always, I want to thank Sam Guillen for being here and really helping us make sure that we all look better than we actually are. Really kind of coordinating everything in the background. Savage Bell as well. I want to thank them. And as we get started with this, we're going to go through today and we're going to really dive deep with a couple of agents as well as give you an overview on the best practices so that you can utilize Google Business Profile at the best and highest level to serve your clients and to generate some more additional business. All right, Raleigh, North Carolina, let's see, Fort Worth, Texas, great stuff coming in here. And just so you know, also, we did have a first session a little bit. Sam will drop in the chat once it settles down a little bit. The link to that first one, if you want to go back and look at that. Any of the replays that you want to see, simply go to my YouTube channel, click on the little live tab, which is for all the live broadcasts that we do, streaming that we do with these. And you're going to see the list of all of those that are out there. Also, Savage, if you don't mind, maybe we can get to Sam. I don't have it right here. Here I am on the fly. Get the link to kind of that channel that we've got where it's just specifically those. That would be great as well. All right. Over 500 people in here now. All right, great. Listen, let's go ahead and get started. Sam, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and pull Rachel up to the front. Rachel Monroe. Rachel, I have had the privilege of working with Rachel now 10 years here locally. I have known Rachel since she was a teenager. And so it's fun to watch her professionally and just as a wife, mom, citizen of our community, and just service-oriented person, just grow and just develop in everything that she was created to be. So, Rachel, if you don't mind, last time you kind of did an overview of some of the best practices. And so I think it'd be great for us to, again, start with you just kind of sharing your screen, going through a few things on best practices, set the stage, and then we'll get to really going deep with Stacy and Katie as well, if you don't mind. So thanks, Rachel, for doing this and your willingness to always help everybody.
Yeah, sounds good. Happy to talk about this. This is like my frequent conversation topic these days.
Yes.
Let's see if I can share this here. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, got it.
I don't know if it'll go full screen or not, but we'll see.
That's all right.
Okay, so just to review, some of this, if you missed last time we did this, definitely go back and watch this, but I'll kind of review what we talked about, kind of a broad overview, and I added a couple points from what I've learned so far, even since then. But to review, your Google Business Profile is your digital first impression online. So it's often going to be, oh, did I lose my screen share? Hang on. Can y'all see anything? Oh, we're going to do it
Yes,
like
coming
that.
now.
Okay, yeah,
There
that's
you go.
perfect.
Got it now.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Okay.
Just let me know, Rachel. I got you over here on this end of it. It's
Okay,
pushing on
thank
my
you.
end.
That looks better. Okay, so also consider, if you could switch to that next slide, that'd be good. Just the quick little points. Cool. Jimmy likes to call it your online resume also. So if you think of it like your online resume, or maybe like think of it as you're going into a listing appointment and you have all your materials, you've got your seller's guide, you've got probably some comps for that home. You wouldn't walk into that appointment if it wasn't complete and there weren't photos in your seller's guide and there wasn't the correct comps for that house. But that's the same thing that's happening if your Google Business Profile isn't set up correctly and well optimized. You're going into first impressions with people, giving them a half completed view of yourself. So we want to optimize this, of course, and build your trust with people before you even meet them. So I probably don't have to sell you on that a whole lot more because you're already here. So let's just skip to optimizing for SEO. SEO is, I think, one of those things that we get intimidated by a lot. But you don't have to get your degree in IT in order to enhance your SEO and your digital presence online. Your Google business profile was literally built for that. This is your foundational element to your search engine optimization strategy. So important to prioritize this. I also even will tell people I would do this before I even start prioritizing social media. I think you should do that too, but this is just so much more important and more legitimate for many reasons. But Google, being the dominant search engine, is giving you a tool to show up in searches. So if you want to show up in people's searches for realtor near me, or even if they actually search your name, if you don't have your profile set up, you're not going to show up at all. So another strategy to consider here that we've been talking about a lot lately, in addition to SEO, is generative engine optimization. So this is like your chat GBTs. And so like the more people nowadays are starting their searches, even more so on Google sometimes with ChatGPT. They're asking chat a question before they even go to Google. So as these trends in the way buyers and sellers are moving are changing, we have to adapt to that strategy as well. So, as AI is answering these people's questions, whether they search for a realtor or they're searching for a specific home in a certain community that you serve, you want to show up in those searches. And we'll go over a couple ways to enhance your optimization for that. But AI really relies heavily on trusted, verified sources that are easy to read and verified by Google, which is what this is. So, okay, we can go to the next slide there and go over a couple optimization tips. Okay, cool. Number one, you have to get your page verified. This is one of those steps that can get a little tricky sometimes. In our ideal world, all you have to do is do a little verification code that it'll text you or call you with a code. Sometimes it'll send you a postcard with a code. Ultimately, Google gets to decide how you get verified. Um, Ideally, it's as simple as that, and you move on and you're verified. If you get tripped up on this, you are not the only one. But it is still important to stay the course and don't just get frustrated and move on. Do the steps, keep doing the work to get it figured out. It can be done. Um, Next is
Hey,
opposite
Rachel.
to, yeah.
Rachel, can I just add to this? Because this was something we got a lot of questions on before, and
Mhm.
I wanted to mention this. If you have gotten stuck and you've overcome that, if that's something, especially if you hired someone to help with that, because we had a few people that mentioned that last time. If that's the case and you know of a company that has helped you get verified, if you don't mind, drop that in the chat because that will give us the ability to kind of crowdsource this a little bit. And obviously, we'll have more time for questions in the end. But this is one of those where we got tons of this stuff. So questions on this. So I wanted to kind of head that up right out of the gate. So again, I apologize for interrupting. It's kind of what I do. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Rachel, you're
no,
saying
I can already see a couple of people had some answers for that, so that's good. I have seen
great.
people do the postcard thing too, and that obviously that's a couple days slower, but if that works, love it.
Right.
Or yeah, I have also seen people, if none of those like first step verifications work, Google might ask you to like take a video of the outside of your office. That can work too. So um, I also have a Google Help link that I'll post at the end of this too, that has the
Perfect.
easy link to the support. Um, yeah, definitely though, just don't get too frustrated or intimidated by that. Just it can be done. It's just a little frustrating. But yeah, if you have ideas for that, definitely let us know. Um, Next step is to complete all of your fields. Don't skip steps here. Complete every field. Set your category as real estate agent. That's another trick that's going to help you with that address setting that I'll get to. Choose your service types, everything that you'll do, whether you're first time home buyer, service, buyers and sellers, luxury, all the options that apply to you, check all of those. Another important thing that I see people kind of mess up a little bit sometimes is set your business name exactly as it appears in other places. So if you have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a Google business, the name should all be identical. That's going to help AI and just people recognize you as a whole connected, legit business and not have like different names all over the place that look like you created this one in 2005 and you created this one last year and you didn't keep them all updated. So definitely keep those all looking the same. Keep the profile photo the same on all of those. Another thing I like to tell people is to set some actual hours. You can technically just set it to always open. Um, I don't love that as much because it just says always open all the time, which is like, are you really always open? If you set some hours, even if it's like 7 to 7, it says actually you're open now rather than just saying you're always open and you might not have looked at your Google business profile in 3 years. So even setting a couple hours, even if you will answer the phone after that, which you probably will, I think that helps with just look a little bit more legit. Your photos section, you want to add high quality photos, adding your headshot or your logo in the logo field. And then you want to add like a team photo, or if you have an office, put your office photo in the cover field section. Or if you don't have either of those, you can put a hyper local image, something really specific and recognizable for your area. Put that there. Another little AI hack for that is to change the file names of the photos you're uploading to something searchable and keyword rich. So like if I were to upload a photo of Seaside, Florida, I would change the file name to that instead of whatever like jibber jabber numbers it is. No one can see that, but AI can read it. So it's just one extra layer of something that AI can pick up on when it's answering questions. Then the post section, use this kind of like a mini social media. It doesn't have to be like, it's not so much of like an algorithm and like a feed like Facebook and Instagram, but you do want to keep it updated on a regular basis. And you can use kind of the same content that you're posting on social media there. There, on those posts, there's also a button that you can put, a call to action. Put a button on every post, link it back to your website or the featured listing that you're talking about, something like that. And then last thing, there's a product section that you can add listings to. You can break this up by section. You can put listings, or you can also put maybe your buyer's guide or your seller's guide, or if you have like a community guide, something like that, some kind of digital download product like that, you can set the dollar amount as 0, and then people can download that straight from your product library. I think that's a cool little trick that not a lot of people do, and I think looks really legit.
Hey,
Let's,
Rachel, as
yeah.
we make this transition, just so because a couple quick questions I saw in there, I want to make sure I get answered. Somebody asked, "What does optimized mean?" Basically, it's just putting yourself in the best position to make sure that everything that you can possibly do to position yourself where Google will recognize you. It's just optimizing that where you've got the best foot forward. And one of the things that we were talking about with SEO versus GEO, one of the key things Rachel brought up briefly that I want to make sure that I highlight is when you're uploading photos, instead of just uploading the file, rename those photos. And Rachel mentioned AI recognizes that. This is another way for it to see you consistently uploading information. And even though it doesn't have a description of the photo, when you upload that, so for instance, if it is a home for sale that you're just putting one of your listings up or whatever with a graphic on it, make the file name, the address, home for sale, or the location, home for sale, because that's going to give it the ability to see that a little better as well. So I'll go back, and maybe we need to slip the slide back so that you can start over. I know this one's scrolling as we're talking, but
Yeah, there was one other thing actually I forgot to mention too, but that I've done
yeah.
that too with like naming the files. You can just be a little ridiculous and name it something really long if you want to just even put your name in the file, or no one can see that. So it's just AI that can see it. So the more, I mean, don't be crazy and make it like a paragraph, but you can definitely put a lot of keywords in there that are gonna just one extra layer of things that AI can pick up on.
Yeah,
Um,
that's great.
One thing I wanted to mention about putting in your bio on your profile, which is very important, of course. Um, I like to think of it when people are writing that bio because every field on every platform has a different character limit. So you probably have many versions of your bio. But for Google, obviously you want to keep it in the character limit. But I would also think of it like reverse engineer what questions you want to be the answer to. So if you think of like what question is someone going to ask ChatGPT or Google that I want to show up in the results and use those words, even like that kind of phrasing reversed in the answering that question, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
like if you want to show up in someone searching for a luxury specialist in Gulfront properties on 30A, or that's just an example for our area. Put those words in your bio because that's going to help ChatGPT recognize what you're trying to put out there. Another thing is ChatGPT cannot actually read the number of reviews that you have, even though you can see it right there under your name. So if say you have like 50 5-star reviews, put that in your bio too. It might sound silly because you could see it right there, but ChatGPT can read your bio, but not the number of reviews. So put that in there too. Anything else I missed on this section? There's a
Hey,
lot.
No,
There's a lot of stuff you can do on this one, so I'm trying not to
no.
go crazy on that.
And we got so many great questions coming in. One thing before we flip slides on how do I have recommendations and reviews on other places. Look,
Mhm.
if you can always request with a copy and paste with a link to this to your clients if you've got that good relationship. If you don't, you can always take a photo of the review, title that file for that photo, review of your name, and then your area, realtor, and then upload that as a picture if you can't get it over there, because those are great ways to fill in some of the gaps as well on the photos if you've got reviews and you can't seem to get them from Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever over there. Now you can take these, and we'll take some of these when they leave them on there, and we can just copy and paste them over to our website if you're wanting to do that. But there's a number of different ways to do that. And then Rachel, we'll just keep rolling. I apologize, I keep jumping in,
Yeah,
but I see
no,
some
on the
answers we
reviews
go.
thing, just to clarify, I would take a screenshot of it. Don't take a photo of it with your phone.
Yes,
Um,
thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
I
Yeah.
know that's not what you meant, but we also will sometimes, like if you have a sweet marketing team that will make you a little graphic with it, you can do it like that too and put it in your photos on
Yeah.
your Google profile and social media and wherever you want to put it. Um, Okay, I guess we can show that example then next. So this is one of our agents in our Panama City Beach office that does this really well. He's got great reviews. This is an example of being located within another office, which we can touch on that briefly. He's got updated content all the time. He's got his social handles, his bio where he mentions his career sales volume and the number of 250 plus 5-star reviews. He's got his products, his listings listed there, and obviously good reviews below that. Um,
That
I
is
have
Craig
gotten a,
Duran, the
yes,
Duran Group out of Panama City Beach. If anybody wants to check some of these out as we go along, obviously, once we get to Stacy and Katie, also, I think you're going to want to see exactly what they're doing as well.
yes. So I get a lot of people asking when you are located when you have an office within your brokerage that also has a Google business profile associated with the same address. Google doesn't like to have multiple businesses in the same address. So it's going to prompt you to if you have you have to make sure your category is set as real estate agent, not brokerage or any other category. Then you should have the option to choose that you're located in another business, aka this one, for example, he did Pier Park North, which is the shopping center where that office is located. That's how he was able to have the same address. Um,
Hey,
so try to
Rachel.
do that and not like take over someone else's business profile too.
Yeah,
in my
Rachel, that also might be why some people are running into the insurance roadblock with Google, is because they're trying to set it up as a brokerage rather than the category of agent. So for
Mhm.
those of you that have the question regarding insurance and those insurance requirements, you may just need to change the category.
Yes.
Correct. And we're going to hear from Katie White here in just a little bit, who has hers set up in the same office, and she did a little unique twist on that. So we'll hear from her in just a few minutes as well.
I saw a comment too. If you don't have like a physical office where you meet people at, or you just like run into so many snags with that, you can just set service areas and not have a specific address, and you're still going to show up in searches and on the maps and everything is when you choose your specific areas that you service. So that's another way to do that. Um, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by questions. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll keep on rolling. We'll try to get
Yeah,
the
okay, we'll get
Q&As
to
in
that. We'll
here.
get to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
the reviews section, maybe the most important part of your Google business profile. Anytime someone asks me, I've had a couple agents ask me this week actually, like they have someone that they want to ask for a review. Where should I have them put it? Because you can put reviews on anything. I would always say go and send it to Google. It's a little easier to can transfer your Google reviews to like your website, but doesn't go the other way around. So I would personally send them to Google every time, and you have like ownership and control over that asset rather than like Zillow, all these places. It's good to have a review. I would just suggest Google if you're going to just get one. And when it comes to asking these clients for reviews, the more specific we can get with these, the better. So, this just helps again with your SEO and your GEO. If people are leaving specific reviews that include your name, your role that you played for them, like your whether you were the seller's agent or the buyer's agent, um, the neighborhood that you served them in, any specific challenge that happened in that situation, because people ask very specific stuff like that in ChatGPT too, and how you overcame that, and then any extra like service strengths that nice things people want to say about you. Anything like that is great to have in your reviews. Just to SEO stands for search engine optimization. I should have said that. Okay, I think on the next slide there's an example of a way you can ask this. I copied this from one of Jimmy's Inman articles. This is just a way, honestly, it might sound a little bit if you're not already doing this, like you might be worried that it sounds kind of like pushy or something. I find that anytime someone asks me to do a review, I'm kind of like, I don't know what I should say. Like I like that I want to leave a good review, but they don't necessarily know exactly what to write all the time. So giving them little tips like this is actually super helpful. Um, Giving them like, so like for in this example, a quick favor, would you be willing to leave me a Google review, including the neighborhood and slash city? I would actually put that in there, whatever neighborhood you helped them with, the price point and how I helped. Again, put the specific example if you have one. Makes it even more helpful for neighbors to find me. Thank you so much. Great way to copy paste that into asking clients for reviews. I also get agents asking me all the time, like, or feeling a little weird about asking clients for reviews that they haven't worked with in like, or like the transaction was like 6 months ago. Ask them anyways. They're probably more than happy to do it. I would always ask for those reviews, even if it's been a minute. Okay, on the next slide, I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember what's on there. Could you go to the next one for me?
Hey, also, as we're switching over there, don't be afraid to utilize the reviews. They don't have to be verified sales. So this could be where you could do reviews for agents that you've referred business to in other markets, and then they review you. This could be your service providers reviewing, working with you in a transaction. All of those things add up to the number of reviews. And a lot of times it's the number of reviews. I don't know about you, but if I'm in a city and I look for a restaurant, for instance, I looked at the reviews this past week as I was somewhere. One of the things that I looked for is man, how many do they have, and what is the star rating? So
Mhm.
just think of it from that perspective. It doesn't always have to be past clients. This could be people you've worked with. These could be a lot of different things as well.
And chances are they're not going to read all 75 reviews that you have
Correct.
either. So, but
Right.
obviously you just want them to be positive reviews. But even if you get a negative one, I would tell everyone to respond to all of them. It
Right.
shows that you're active on your Google business page and that you're a professional and you care about your reviews. This video shows you whenever you do go to write out this email or text requesting a review, do not hit send until you go and get this link that you can copy and paste into the email or text to make it super easy for people to find where to write their review. Don't send people on a wild goose chase looking for where to put it. If you copy and paste that link, then on the next slide, it shows you just what it looks like for the client when they click on it.
Hey, and as you're changing over the slide there, in case you forget or aren't sure how to do any of these things, just go into Google and say, how do I get a link to request reviews from my Google business profile page? A lot of the questions we're getting on, things that are like, how do I get someone that doesn't have a Google email address, the ability to leave a review on Google business profile? Just ask that in Google. It'll get you a lot of these answers as well.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yes.
Also, you can, for those of you using Testimonial Tree, there is a way to integrate your Google business page to that also. It's not like a direct, like if they leave one review on Testimonial Tree, it automatically goes to Google. It's a little bit of an extra step for the client to say, I also want to put this on Google. You have to set it up to where it's connected, and then they're gonna have to copy and paste it on there. So just so you're aware of how that works. I definitely still do it and try, but not everyone might do it all the way through. Just FYI. Okay, there was one, I was just gonna like touch really quickly on this performance dashboard. You can go all down a rabbit hole on this on your profile, but I like this section on the right here that shows these are search terms that showed your profile in search results. So think of these as like these are the keywords that people were searching that made you pop up. So something to keep in mind as you're thinking about keywords to include in your content, in your bio, and so forth. Find that kind of interesting. This also proves that your profile is actually a lead generation tool. It's not just like a little digital business card. It shows where people are coming from and that you could see more in the performance dashboard of like clicks that you're getting on your phone button and clicks to your website and all that kind of stuff. Definitely interesting to look at. When you're editing your business profile, like on the main page when you're editing, there's a little performance icon to answer that question. Um, this is something that I've been working on that I'm trying to get our agents to do. So once you've got your Google business profile set up, you've done heavy lifting, it looks beautiful, it's all accurate. You don't have to babysit it, but you do have to maintain it a little bit and keep it accurate and growing. So don't just set it and forget it, but you have done the hard work and it's all just easy from here on out. So a little checklist I've been working on is something I'd love to see you doing this more than monthly, but this is a good thing to set as a habit. I would put it in your calendar or set a reminder to do this once a month at least. But number one, check for Google suggestions. Periodically, Google will go in and suggest edits based on things that it thinks may have updated. Some of these are correct, some of them are not. So go in and check these regularly and say, yes, that's right. Yeah, no, that's not, and make sure that all your info is correct. Next, add new photo or two or three or four, as many as you can load up there. Add some new posts, pull something from your social media. The more the better. This, again, it's not like a algorithm through Instagram, so it doesn't matter if you post like three at a time. It's not like you're blowing anybody up like that. So don't hesitate to do that. Next, respond to any reviews that you haven't already, and then just update any other info that has changed. So mainly you just want to keep this updated and flowing and not miss anything or have something big come up that you let sit for too long. That's pretty much all I
Yeah.
have on that.
No, this is great. Hey,
Yeah.
I know that you've got these slides, you've got the checklist, those things. Sam, if you have that, if we can post that in there. If not, Rachel, if you can get that over to him, and then we will keep moving. Look, we got a lot of questions, obviously. One thing I would say is think about your question. If you have a question that you could just copy and drop into Google and it'll give you the answer, let's try to do that. That way, because I know we're not going to be able to get to everything today. But love, love, love all the participation. Rachel, hey, show Rachel some love. Really detailed, great information for us to be able to do that. And just appreciate that. Oh, look at all the hearts, Rachel. Look at this.
Thank you.
So, all right, love it. All right, all right. Let's keep moving. We're going to come to Stacy now. Listen, Stacy Fritchen is working in the Fort Worth Metroplex area or Metro Tex area, I guess. And that would be a great transition if we could bring Stacy up. One of the things, Stacy and I were actually on a mastermind here a couple of weeks ago with her office, and as we were on there, I was like, wow, you are really doing some really interesting stuff here, Stacy. So, Stacy, introduce yourself, tell them where you are, kind of your business, the areas you serve, and then a little bit about your experience with Google Business Profile, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, my name is Stacy Fritchen, and I am in the DFW Fort Worth area. I've been an agent for 18 years, and with marketing, it's revolving constantly, and you have to know what works and what doesn't work. And when I started, magazines worked, so that kind of tells you how old I am. Um, but I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. And when you recognize and you're real with who you are, you get to allow other people to help you. And that was something that I always struggled with, was asking for help. So I realized when social media started getting so involved, I needed to hire a social media coordinator. And my social media coordinator is amazing. And she usually posts 3 to 4 times on Google a week. She's checking the timing of when to post to get so many impressions. And she does all the internal work for me to make me look good.
Yeah, this is good. Hey, Stacy, one thing is I'm gonna share my screen now. I'm gonna show your profile. A couple of things here on this, because what I want to do is I kind of want to give people an idea of kind of some of the things that you mentioned that she's doing. I think it makes a great point. This is important. We were talking about that, and as Rachel had mentioned initially, this is kind of your online resume. That's what I've always said. People are going to Google you, and Google Business Profile is a great way for you to be able to frame everything up. The consistency that Stacy is talking about also gives the capability for people to see you see you in there on a regular basis. That is something that Google will really, really respond well to. So I'm going to show, we've got the main page here. And a couple of things you'll notice here is that Stacy has obviously her information. She has her details. It shows her Google reviews. She's got products. She's got her reviews. I'm going to slip over to this. And Stacy, tell me a little bit about kind of some of the things that you've seen that have been helpful for you. And then I'd love to hear some success stories also of how you've been utilizing it.
Well, I decided to do the technique of having the service area, the wide marketing radius, because most people, when they're looking to find a realtor, they're going to put in realtor in Fort Worth, Texas. And so when you see the circumference there, it shows that I'm in the Fort Worth area. So my name will pop up towards the top, if not at the top. And the more posts that we make, the more directly you're going to boost how often you appear in local searches. Um, it was pretty exciting and scary when you kind of go to the unknown. And when I handed over my social media to Jessica, that's my social media coordinator, she took care of all of this. And she started really diving into, how do you get clients? How do you get the leads? And last year it was really incredible, because you don't want to spend the extra money sometimes. Sometimes you're frugal and you're like, is it worth it? Should I have a social media coordinator? And for me, I had 5 or 6 closings directly from Google. I had a couple from Houston that they were looking to move up here, and I had a listing in that particular area where their work was at. And that didn't work out for them, but they found me on Google, not on my listing, but actually on Google. And then when they looked at my reviews, then they felt confident, and they asked if, after we spoke for a few times, they asked if I would represent them. So we ended up selling a home for $1.7 million. And I can tell you that alone paid all year long for my social media coordinator. So is it worth it? Absolutely. For me personally, I had probably 4 or 5 other clients that came from out of state. And instead, there's different varieties of way people are going to search for help for a realtor. They may call a business. They may, most people are independent and they just kind of want to do it behind the scenes and type on the computer, realtor in, Fort Worth, Texas. So how are you getting your name out there? And it's important to have reviews. Google and social media differ in the fact that social media keeps your brand recognizable, while Google establishes trust and authority, quality, and value. So they know what kind of realtor you are. They always want to have a good, experienced realtor. So when they start seeing your reviews, then they're going to be reading. They may not read all of them, but they may read 10 of them. And it's nice, as Rachel had said earlier, to put in um, areas. For instance, Stacy really helped us out. We were first-time home buyers in Haslett, Texas. And, she helped us each step of the way, and we felt comfortable and we'd use her again. I think that's important to send that to your clients. You know, sometimes you have to get outside your comfort zone and say, will you send me, will you, you know, give me a 5-star review? And I always put in the link, I text them truthfully during a happy point in the transaction, whether we're at closing and a buyer is excited to get their new home, or the seller is excited because the home appraised. Those are the times that I'll text them, hey, if you have a minute, can you give me a 5-star review? And I always put in there, hey, when you give me a minute, can you get a 5-star review? Because I'm basically subconsciously telling them, hey, I want a 5-star review and I want to look good. But in addition to that, I asked them to put in there some value that I brought to the table. And normally they do that. And also, Rachel mentioned you don't have to just get your reviews from your clients. You can get them from staff, from coworkers, from agents that you just worked with that had a really good experience with you. I think it was last week, I had an agent that we had a pretty tough transaction and I didn't know if it was going to close. He didn't know if it was going to close, but we worked together and we got to the finish line. And he was in his car and he videoed a review for me and he sent it to me and explained the experience. But not only did he send that to me, I then promoted it on social media and it made him look good. It made me look good. And it was real life. You know, not every transaction is going to be easy peasy. You know, there's going to be some that are going to be hard. And your value shines when you have the hard ones and you get to the finish line. But going back to the Google reviews too, I had 4 or 5 clients last year from out of state, and they just basically typed in their information, you know, realtor and XYZ, and they called me. I answered the phone, and it was pretty easy.
Yeah. Hey, look, Stacy, this is a great point too, because you're doing that consistent. I'm going to show this where you can see this on my screen. You know, this from the owner. This is kind of showing. You'll notice 2 days ago, you know, this was information. And these, you'll notice these are like social media posts. So it's just really utilizing something you've got, just compounding the effect. Here's 3 days ago, 7 days ago. What you have to understand is that Google, well, any AI, but especially Google, it loves and it does have a recency bias. So if it's searching for a realtor in Fort Worth area, it is going to look for who is not only the person who has the most reviews, who's the person that is not only the most active, it's who has been active consistently over time, and especially what's been going on recently. So this is good. I want to show this also. If you're looking at this, you'll notice Stacy has filled in every single thing. She has a Calendly link where they can set up a time to meet with her or to set up a call with her. She's got a link to her website, obviously her phone number. This portion of identifies as woman-owned business. These are great ways that you can identify yourself, where you will have a group of people that will identify with you, because a lot of times, look, we want to work with people that are like us. And so I think this is a great way to do that as well. As we go down a little bit, you'll notice this starts asking questions and answers. Now, one of the things, Stacey, you mentioned to me that you even had your assistant, if I remember correctly, maybe even posting some of no, wait, I'm sorry. That was Katie doing some of those where they're posting questions in there. One of the things I did notice on yours when you were talking about the reviews was you were asking for some of these at different points. Have you done any concerted effort, or are you just kind of doing this as the time comes up? Or is there something where you're, you know, at the end of every transaction? What does that look like as far as a process for reviews?
Well, I either will do it in the middle when they're excited, but for the most part, I do it at closing. And then if if they don't fill out the review at that time, then my assistant will send 5 automatic emails to them. Hey, if you don't mind, just for 2 seconds, can you give Stacy a quick review? So in addition to myself asking for the link on a text, we're doing it in another form too, with my assistant sending an email saying, hey, just friendly reminder. And that seems to work pretty good.
Yeah. This is, I will say, if you're out there and you're wanting to look at someone who has done it well, go ahead and pull up Stacy. And also, if we can, Sam, get Stacy's handles. And Stacy, if we don't have them, if you could post them for Instagram and anywhere else that you would like to see, because the way Stacy runs her business, it's not just Google Business Profile, it's her entire business, is very, very organized. It's very well purposeful in everything she does. And I think if you're looking for something to model as far as a Google business profile that is generating, what did you say, Stacey? I mean, you and I were talking, it was like 4 or 5 transactions that you know that you know. I mean, because look, there's a lot of these you can't put a number on, and you just know they went and Google you, but you can't put your number on it. But you've got 4 or 5. It seems like that you can pretty much track back to Google, correct?
That was last year alone, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
See,
well worth it.
well worth it. And this is a perfect example. So I would encourage you, go check out Stacy's. And Stacy, if you can hang around, we're going to do some Q&A because I know they're just flying in. And so if you got specific questions for Stacy, drop those in the chat. That way Sam can bring back those as we get towards the end. But Stacy, thank you again for doing that. I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen now. And if we can, we'll bring Katie up now. Katie from Butte, Montana. And Katie, yeah, show some love for Stacy, if you will. Show her some of those hearts. Look at there. Look at all the love coming in, Stacy. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Hey, and listen, if you got a referral, Stacy took her time to prepare for this, to get all these. If you've got someone that you know in that Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, Stacy's a great referral source out there as well. So, Katie, thank you for doing this, my friend. Good to see you. And Katie was telling us it's 19 degrees this morning in Butte because I had said, great to wake up in Butte, Montana this morning. She said, yes, it's a crisp 19 degrees. And I was like, maybe not so much. So, Katie, thank you for coming. I know you've done a ton of really kind of refocusing some of your efforts over on Google Business Profile. You want to share some of the details on kind of your business, what it looks like, where you locate, where you service outside of just Butte, and then also just a little bit about your experience with Google Business Profile.
Well, I started my Google business actually in 2020 when I was bored out of my mind. And I really got to work then, studying it, and I suppose Googling how to Google my business. And worked really hard on it then. And then over the years, I've just kept up with it. And I've had like my ask for a review link in my signature in my email for forever. I ask for reviews as soon as deals are over, just like Stacy. Sometimes I do ask for them during the deal, but usually, right around when it's over. And then I do follow-up emails as well. I have an assistant who has kind of taken over my Google business page, which is fantastic. And we make sure to post every day. That I think it, even, just anything I can come up with or she can come up with. We'll do Instagram reels. I use listing leads. So we'll do some of the listing leads and graphics that they come up with. We'll share things from my business page, like our Happy Halloween, price reductions, all the things. I do a lot. She'll do very good detailed descriptions that again help with the SEO. But that's pretty much every day. And I think I let her take the weekends off, but but yeah, I have fun with it too. I think I just really want people to get to know me from my Google business page. And so I have all of my social links on there, and I'm pretty active on Instagram and TikTok. And so a lot of times by the time people call me, one of the things that they say is that they feel like they already know me because my personality comes out on my social pages. So, and those daily posts help with that as well.
Yeah. Hey, Katie, did you mention to me, or am I just totally, if not, it's a great idea, that your assistant will sometimes go in and ask questions in your Google business profile that you're answering? And because I think that's a great way of think of the questions that we all get asked, and you could have someone in your office ask that. You could have someone that's an assistant or whatever. Is this something you've done, or am I just going crazy over here?
No, I ask and answer. We
Thank you.
ask and answer our own questions. That's not something that's used a lot by others, so it's just a really easy way to add more SEO onto your page and to let your personality come out. I answer mine just how I talk to people, so mine are pretty relaxed and laid back. And so like one of mine is, what is my favorite type of real estate? And I just say all of it.
Right.
And I love working with all different types of clients. And then do I only sell real estate in Butte, Montana? And I say no, and I list all of the towns around here in Southwest Montana where I'll work. Because Butte is a very small area, so a lot of us work a pretty wide geographic area.
Yeah. And speaking of that, some of these things, like I'm just thinking about questions. I mean, if you're out there and you're wondering, how do I fill some of this in? Asking yourself, what's the difference between this neighborhood and this neighborhood in your city? That's a great question that somebody might Google. And if you've got the answer, it's a great way to help SEO find you, help the AI find you. So it's a great use of that as well. Some of the things that we were talking about on the reviews, is there something in particular you've done to generate these 58 5-star reviews that you have in particular, Katie? Anything you've focused in on there?
Working really hard for my clients. No,
Yeah.
I will go back a long ways and randomly get a hold of a client from a few years ago. It's a way that it's something that I use to keep in touch with people as well. And I'll just get a hold of somebody from a couple years ago or even longer than that and just say, hey, I know we worked together on this, property. And I know it's been a while, but if you remember anything positive, and so some of mine are from quite old transactions, but they will do it for me.
Yeah.
So
No. I think a lot of times we get so caught up on it being, that it has to be this. People don't know whether you sold something to them, and they're seeing a review, whether that was 3 years ago or whether they just see the review. And so I think that is a great point, Katie, from that standpoint. One of the things that you and I have talked about is a little bit about some of the results you've seen. Can you share a little bit of any story about anybody that's reached out to you or any kind of success stories specifically from Google Business Profile?
I get pretty much 5 or 6 daily people going from my Google business to my Berkshire website and registering on my Berkshire website, probably daily. How many of those turn out, I don't know exactly, but we contact them immediately, and then they are in my CRM from that point on. They will either, come through as looking at a specific property, or they just register on my site, and that's daily. And then I honestly, I actually tried to count last night how many deals I have from Google Business just this year, and I got sidetracked and never finished counting. But it was a lot. And I have 2 right now. One that I just closed on, which was about a $650,000 deal, which is really high end in our market. And I closed with that couple, and I'm now selling her dad's house as well. So that's 2 deals, almost $1 million by the time it's over. And then, and I remember our first call was a Zoom call, and at the end of the call, they said, we found you on Google, and we were so excited to talk to you. You're exactly what we thought you were going to be, because they'd already seen a lot of me. And so that was one of my favorites, just because they'll talk about it all the time. Like, remember when we found Katie on Google and we watched her on Instagram, and they've gotten to be friends. So, which is great.
Yeah, this is a perfect example too. I mean, you just started focusing in on this really, really high end wise over the last couple of years, and the results you're seeing are just phenomenal. I would like
Yeah.
to encourage everybody, check out what Katie's doing, because what you'll notice is again, same thing we saw when we were looking at Stacy's. It's consistency. Consistency wins every single time, and it's rewarded by Google. And so just get to work on doing these things. Katie, as far as like the reviews, is there a best practice? A review comes in. Is there anything in particular that you do each time that a review comes in, or how do you reward those people, or do you? And what do you do? Do you go in and comment? What does that look like for you?
I respond immediately. If I feel like I've let them down, if I don't thank them for their review the same day, if I can. And I mean I don't do coffee, I don't do anything like that. I just genuinely say thank you, and I'll usually shoot them a text as well and say, gosh, that was really nice of you. And then the other thing that I did want to talk about, and it was something that was brought up, but I think the products area is really
Correct.
important, and I think it's something that you've got to use. Even if you're a new agent and you don't have a lot of listings, if you have permission to share listings, I mean, there's so much that you can do with the products. I have active, under contract, and sold, but I used to do it, but now my assistant does it. She puts all of my listings on there, and I think that is, how a lot of people end up at my website as well, as they come to Google and then they'll look at my products. And then also go in and check the services like once a month. They change. Google will change them. And so sometimes there's things that you can add. I just added 3 or 4 last night that I didn't realize I hadn't clicked, but I think they were new. And then the other thing is that I did want to talk about was a lot of people have asked about having your address the same as your office address, because like the Butte office, they have their own page and it's the same address as mine. And one of the things that I looked up to double check last night was that Google explicitly allows individuals, including real estate agents, to have a separate Google business profile at the same location as their firm. So it's confirmed. You can do that. Mine is sort of silly. It just says upstairs office on the left. So I have it delineated a little bit more, but again, that's just my personality. So but that has helped. I mean, I have had people drop in as well.
Yeah. Hey, Katie, what about also, we have a lot of people that are like, should I get Google verified? And I've had trouble with that process. Tell us a little bit about your experience and what you've done with that as well.
So it took me forever to get Google verified. I actually thought that I was not Google verified, but I am. And because I kept getting this weird notification, and now I think it was spam. But I am Google verified, but I was not for a really long time. And I think, yes, try to get it done, but don't wait. Don't wait to do and work on your page and build your page until you're verified. I just don't think it matters. I think as you continue to get more reviews and you just keep adding information, the better it is. And then once you're verified, it's even better. Your page is already established.
Yeah. Hey, Katie has been teaching some of this as well to a number of different agents. And I think you've got like a little handout kind of just for people, just almost like a checklist as well. So Sam, if you don't mind, if you can, I think I sent that to you. If you don't have it, we'll get it up. But if you can share that in the comments area, that would be great. And I would also, Katie mentioned about that she utilizes listing leads for some of that. We do have a discount code where you can get half off the first month with listing leads, which gives you a lot of those posts. And it's just quick wins. When you check out, that'll give you half off that first month. And it's a month-to-month deal. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. So, Katie, anything else that I've forgotten that we talked about, Katie, as we wrap up and get to Q&A?
No, I don't think so. I kind of went off on the products and everything, and I just think that Google Business, and I'm in a small area. I can't even imagine being in a bigger area and working really hard on this, like Stacy. I mean, you know, Butte has 35,000 people in it. It's not a big area. And I feel pretty cool that I show up kind of high, you know? And so if you're working really hard on it and you're in a bigger area and you're showing up high, I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
And I think that everybody should do it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if you've got anything in Montana, someone that you're looking that you would like to refer out that way, check in with Katie. Show her some love. I see the hearts already coming in. Appreciate that, Katie. Hey, listen, Sam, let's bring this back up. If we can bring Rachel as well as Stacy and Katie back up. Look, we're not going to be able to get to all the questions. And again, I would just ask you, if you ask the questions, we love seeing this amount of input. Utilize Google to ask some of those questions yourself and see what you can do there. And so, Sam, anything, and if you've got a particular question now for Katie, for Rachel, or also for Stacy, drop those in. Even if you've dropped them in before, drop them in again. That way we can get specific of those. Sam, anything in particular we want to touch on here in the last few minutes as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'll start with Stacy. Are there any hacks in terms of suggesting to your clients to add in certain keywords into reviews that you've seen have worked? And if your clients don't add those in, do you then consciously think about adding them in your response to those reviews?
Interesting.
So there's different spheres that you want to focus on, and you don't want to just focus on one type of buyer or one type of seller. So I like to have it included that there's a first-time home buyer, it's a corporate relocation, it was a luxury home, or I like the area put into the review, just little things like that. But I want it to sound authentic, and I like the then the realness of it. So when I respond, I just try to be a person, and I say thank you for, trusting me to be your realtor, and thank you for purchasing a house in Haslett, Texas. I'm so glad the transaction went so smoothly. So
That's
I
great.
will definitely put in keywords.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's really important. First time home buyer, luxury. What about Rachel? Have you heard about addresses, specifically not necessarily the home address, but Rachel helped me in Del Mar, California, because that helps the crawls of the search engines identify you as somebody who's an authority in that particular area.
Yeah, and our agents also, our area is we have just such a unique area where each little beach town is so different, and so many agents specialize in like one particular beach town. So definitely important to, especially if you're farming that beach town or that specific community or neighborhood, to ask people to mention that in your reviews. We have a lot of agents doing that. But yeah, I mean, if you just ask, a lot of people won't necessarily think to write that unless you ask.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, and
Katie.
even getting into the description, you know what I mean? If you're posting, if you're doing postings on here, posting about specifically, like, Katie was doing products with the location, get very, very specific on the address, the neighborhood, the location, the area, the city. You know what I mean? Because all of that adds up into what Google views you as the expert in those local areas as well.
Katie, how often do you ever go back and alter old content that you post onto your Google page, meaning like the post, or do you just continue to leave those evergreen and just continue to add more?
I just leave the posts, I leave them. But my pictures, like in preparation for this, I realized that some of my pictures were a little bit outdated. So I went in and we changed out a lot of my photos, because I have and I actually originally heard this from Jimmy, but that 100 pictures is kind of the lucrative amount to have. Um, and I was trying to pull up hang on really quick, sorry, my my packet, because there was the photos, they specifically said the photos don't help with your ranking, they help with your conversion. So photos, the more photos you have, and again, this links back to your socials as well being on there. the more people feel like they know you. So it doesn't, the number of photos that you have doesn't raise you up in the search engine. It helps you with people then calling you. So changing it, and I put photos of listings, I put photos of my dogs, my family. I'm sure they love that. I know they don't. And things that we do, I just, a pretty night sky. And I also, in my photos, I will have some of my reels off of TikTok as well. So I do have videos in there as well.
Yeah. Hey, let me add that this since Katie brought it up. I called it kind of my 20-60-100 to Google Business Profile success. And basically what I said is the optimum to get to where you begin to be seen and then you can build on is to get to 20 reviews as quick as you can. And from that standpoint, spreading those out over time. So don't try to dump 20 or just get 20. Try to do this over a time period. And then what I did is 60 days, and that was 60 days to get those reviews, as well as post, if you can, schedule to post at least every other day during those 60 days, ideally once a day, because now Google sees your consistency. It sees reviews coming in. This is almost like we're priming the pump, so to speak. And then 100 photos. And so over that same 60-day period, just schedule to have where you're putting 5 photos up 5 days a week for the next 100 days. And all of a sudden now you're sitting here and you've got multiple, you've really almost had tapped the shoulder, so to speak, of Google's algorithm and said, hey, I'm serious about this. Here's at least 20 people that have said that they loved working with me. Here's 100 photos showing that I'm highlighting my local area and the business that I do. And here's also posts consistently over the last 60 days. And all of a sudden now you have the ability to really move up the ladder, so to speak, as far as being recommended by Google. So that's kind of just a quick way to really utilize that and kind of get a plan of action as we head into the last 60 days here of this year. If you really wanted to launch yourself, there's nothing better out there as far as organic growth, as far as verification of who you are and confirmation for those clients that search you up than to have those things done. And if you started doing that and set the stage for 2026 where that was done, I'll tell you, I think you're setting the stage for an amazing beginning to the next year where it will set up to be your best year ever. So, Sam, let's wrap this up. I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. Replay for this, you can go over to my YouTube page, go to live, and when you click the live button, it'll have all the replays there. This one will be there almost immediately. It's kind of interesting. It drags about 10 minutes behind. So literally, like when people are seeing this on YouTube, it's probably about 5-10 minutes behind what we're doing right now, but it'll be there as well. There is a playlist you can see where you can see all of those that Savage just put in there in those. So listen, anything else that any of the panelists or Sam, you want to add as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I actually have one for those that have stayed on. I purposely held this all the way to the end, but it's a little nugget that I actually got from my mechanic. Check this out. So I picked up my car and my mechanic's fantastic. They always send me a text message a day after, hey, how are things going? And I always say, great. This time when I said, great, text it back, said, great, would you mind leaving me a quick review? And he gave me a link and I clicked on that link and guess what opened up? This really cool kind of AI platform that said, hey, thanks for giving us a review. It pre-wrote the review for me because one of the barriers sometimes is they got to sit and think about it in the course of their busy day. And I was busy that day and I got to read what the AI said and I can alter it and I can change it. And then I could hit post. It took me like 20 seconds to do this. It already prompted a 5-star. And so I called him back right away and said, Jeff, you gotta tell me what this is. Mm-hmm. And of course, he's a mechanic. He's like, I don't know, I got a guy. So I called the guy. And this is what he told me. Reviewly.ai. Reviewly, can you guys see that?
Yeah, man, this is good.
Reviewly.ai. And what he said was, it's really simple. You go in there and you kind of set up a profile and you can just set up all these different automations. And it was fantastic. So, small business people and entrepreneurs, like everyone that is here, is constantly thinking for ways to just make everything better, and pay attention to what's happening outside of our industry, because sometimes they're doing some really cool things. So
Hey,
that's
listen,
my little nugget for everybody at the end
hey,
here.
how about Sam just holding out, and then just boom, dropping it right there at the end. So really good stuff. Listen, I just want to say thank you to Stacy. Look, again, if you're looking for an agent in the Dallas Fort Worth metro area, reach out to Stacy. Can't say enough great things about the business she does. And also Katie in Butte, Montana. I've known Katie for a number of years. She treats them like family, and you know that you're going to get somebody that's really going to take care of your clients if you got somebody there in Montana. And then Rachel, what a privilege it has been. Rachel is same age or right there at the same age as my oldest daughter, and it's been great to watch her grow up and just see her present here. I'm almost like a little proud father a little bit. So Rachel, just great stuff. And look, just so thankful for all of you taking your time on your Friday. We're going to do everything in our power to continue to earn the opportunity for you to share time with us and bring as much value as we can. Listen, we are heading into the end of the year. This is separation season. This is the time when you can set yourself apart and set up for your best year ever in 2026. I hope this has been valuable. And next week we are going to, because I had to miss a couple weeks ago, we're going to tee it back up, and I'm going to go through a number of lead generation ideas to help you springboard into 2026 with all those leads you've been looking for. So take care, and we will see you guys next week.